Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to learn queue. Queue is also a linear data structure which follows the principle of first in, first out. You would have seen queue in many applications, like in our normal life, we come across a queue for the tickets or a queue for a billing counter in a supermarket and many more places. In a computer applications also queue is widely used for scheduling of multiple programs running in your computer. How CPU switches between those programs is done by making use of queue. Another application that I would like to mention is a call center phone system, which also uses queue in order to hold the people calling them for some services, and those phone calls are kept in a queue until the next service representative is free to respond to that service. Another example can be an interrupt handling in a real-time system. Let's now have a look at queue. So queue is, as we said, it's a linear data structure because the access is in a linear fashion. So it follows the principle of first in, first out. The one that comes first inside the queue would be responded first. Unlike stack, it has both the ends open, wherein the insertion takes place, which we refer it as an NQ operation, takes place at an rear end, whereas deletion takes place from the front end. The operation would be named as DQ operation, that is nothing but removal. So every time when a person comes in or when a program is started in a computer, it will enter from here, will be stored over here, and as and when the front points to that particular program or a number, it would be responded, and that would be removed from the queue. So insertion always takes place at a rear end, whereas deletion takes place from front end. Queue can be implemented in two ways. One, by making use of an array, which would be a static implementation, which means that the size of queue would be fixed. If you are declaring an array of size 100, you cannot store 101 element in a queue. Similarly, if you go for a dynamic implementation, that would be by making use of a pointer, you will not have any limitation of the size. You can add a node as and when needed to a queue. There are various types of queues that we have to study. First one is a simple queue, followed by which we will go for a circular queue, which has of course some advantages over a simple queue, followed by which we will go for priority queue. Priority queue has got its own application when priorities are required to be assigned to a data elements or programs stored in a queue, followed by which we will go for a double-ended queue. Let's now have a look at queue operations. There are two main queue operations, NQ and DQ. NQ is nothing but inserting a value in a queue. DQ is removing a value from a queue. Two auxiliary operations or supportive operations are provided with the queue. First one is isEmpty and second is isFull. isEmpty would check for a queue to be empty or not in order to prevent underflow, whereas isFull would check for queue to be full in order to prevent overflow. Just because we are going for a static implementation, we would need this auxiliary operation isEmpty and isFull in order to support NQ and DQ function. Let's now have a look at an array implementation of a simple queue. Let's have a look at the code. Let's now begin with implementation of a simple queue. I have taken an header file stdio.h, followed by which I have declared three variables at the global level. The first one is an integer array q, which is going to store a q elements. The size of array taken is 10, followed by which I am taking two variables front and rear pointing to -1, initialized with -1 just because queue is empty, followed by which will be designing four functions: isEmpty, isFull, enqueue, and dequeue. Let's have a look at isEmpty function. It is going to check for if queue is empty or not. So for that we can check for a variables front and rear. If one of them up is pointing to a -1, it indicates that queue is empty and you have to return 1. You can check either of this, or you can mention it or sign over here. If not, it indicates that there are few elements in the queue, so we are returning 0. Similarly, isFull would check for a queue to be full or not. If queue is full, we have to return 1, otherwise we have to return 0. Now in order to check for a queue to be full, we have to check for a rear pointer, because insertion takes place at an rear end. So we will be checking for a rear pointer. Rear is equal to 9, does mean queue is full. There are no more vacant slots left in the queue. In that case, we have to return 1, otherwise we will be returning 0. Let us have a look at an enqueue function. As this is not going to return anything, its return type is void. It is going to accept an integer value which will be inserted in a queue. So that is passed as a parameter. Before inserting a value in a queue, we have to check for an overflow condition. So for that, we are writing if isFull equal to 1, is queue full. If it is so, you have to just print a message and you have to just return control back to a calling function. If not, we will be checking for, is this going to be my first element? If this is going to be my first element, does mean front would also be pointing to -1. So this is a condition checked for first insertion. So if front is equal to -1, does mean this is going to be my first element. I'll have to increment the front as well, and we have to insert the value. Insertion takes place always at a rear end, so rear would be incremented by 1 irrespective of that is going to be your first insertion or any successive insertion. Once we are done with incrementing a rear pointer, we will write q with the index rear where the value is required to be inserted equal to a value which we have brought it as a parameter for an enqueue function. So this inserts a value at a rear position where rear is pointing inside a queue. Now let us have a look at a dequeue function. Dequeue is going to remove an element. Again, it is going to return a value which has been removed. So return type is integer over here. I'll take a temporary variable t in order to store the value to be returned. In order to prevent underflow, we have to check for if a queue is empty or not. If queue is empty, we will have to just print a message that queue is empty, and we will have to return a 0 value indicating that queue was empty. Now if queue is not empty, in that case we will reach over here, and this particular statement is going to get a value from queue of front, where the front pointer is pointing. It will get the value from there and it will store it in a variable t. Once it is stored in a variable t, front gets incremented by 1. Suppose if the value that I am going to remove is stored at location number 2. So location number 2, the value that would be fetched would be stored in a variable t, and 2 gets incremented by 1 to become 3. So the element at location number 3 is the first element in a queue now. Now this is a special condition that we need to check for if the element that is removed is a last element. So here we are checking for last deletion. We will be checking for this if we have reached an end of queue. This is the only element left. In that case, we have to check if front equal to 10, does mean all the values are removed. Ninth element was the last one. Once I remove ninth element, front gets incremented as usual. So front becomes 10. If front equal to 10, does mean we are outside the queue now. We are not pointing to any valid elements of Q. So we will just print it was your last element, and front and rear would be initialized with -1. If you want, you can skip this message. This just gives the user an idea that all the values are removed from the queue. Front and rear is again initialized with -1 in order to indicate an empty queue. Once we are done with this, we have to return a value which was removed from the queue, which is already stored in a variable t, to a calling function. Now our calling function is our main function, wherein I have written a menu driven program with a do while loop. This do while loop will continue unless and until user presses 3. So this do while loop will continue till the choice would be less than 3. For 1 and 2 it will continue. For all the other choices it will come out of the loop. Now depending upon the choice 1 and 2, it is going to, if a choice is 1, it's an enqueue function. So this is going to get a value from the user which is required to be inserted, and that value would be passed as a parameter. If the choice is 2, we need to remove an element from the queue. Dequeue operation is required to be performed, which will make call to a dequeue function, which is going to return something, that is t, which will be a local variable, and that gets printed over here. This while loop continues till the choice would be less than 3. I hope everyone is clear with this program of simple queue.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe my channel for more videos on data structure, analysis of algorithm and Python program. Thank you.